Robert Walton. That was the name of the captain of a ship. He was fulfilling his dream, sailing and exploring the North Pole with his crew. But one night, he saw a weak man with a sledge who seemed to need some help. So he gave orders to stop the boat. His name was Victor Frankenstein. He was devastated. He was a bleak man with no hopes. But the captain thought he seemed like a good man and he tried to encourage him. Frankenstein just listened to him, but said that there was nothing he could do to make him feel better. And since the very first day he got into the boat, he started to tell his story. Victor started remembering his life in Geneva, where he grew up with his parents, his little brothers Ernest and William, his friend Henry, and his foster sister Elizabeth. When he moved to study to the University of Ingolstadt, he met two great teachers who instructed him more about his interests. Mr. Wallman, the professor of chemistry who sympathizes with Victor's interest in science, and Mr. Krempe, professor of natural philosophy who dismisses Victor's study of The Alchemist as a waste of time. Both of them influenced Victor's thoughts. He was very interested in both subjects and started to think about creating something. At first, he wasn't sure about what he wanted to do, but suddenly he got an idea that started to grow so fast that got him completely disconnected to everything that was around him. For some months, he became obsessed with an idea that would later become his worst nightmare: creating a human, lifeless, body parts monster. He kept it on secret and worked non-stopping, searching, investigating, non-sleeping, investing all of his time in that project. Not talking to anyone, not even with his family, who were really concerned about him. He was so obsessed that when he finally saw his creation, when the day to finally watch the results came, and everything he had worked on arrived, he saw the monster. He saw the monster coming to life and just ran away horrified. He ran desperate. Victor was shocked. He was thinking in his mind, what did I just do? He regret all the time he had invested. And now, he ran away and left the monster in the lab. He ran to the streets and later decided to go back home. He thought that visiting his family would be a good idea. When he arrived, his father told him that William, Victor's little brother, had been murdered. Victor got desperate because he knew that the murderer was the monster that he had created. Justin Moritz, a close friend of Frankenstein family, was being accused of William's death because a necklace that was wearing appeared in her house. They saw the police was taking her and Victor didn't know what to do. He was very afraid of saying the truth. They would believe he was crazy. After conman, Justin was executed. He had the monster in his mind all of the time. His father told him that marrying Elizabeth would be a good idea, and Victor agreed because he loved her. Looking for some peace, Victor goes to the mountain for some days, where suddenly, in a very lonely and silent moment, the horrible creature appeared in front of him. Victor couldn't believe it. He got horrified by looking at the creature he had created with his own hands. The monster could speak and he could understand humans too. He actually told him how he learned to speak. Sharing his story, the monster expressed his feelings to his creator. He emphasized that he tried to be good with humans, but they weren't good with him. He told Victor that he was suffering and he wanted Victor to create a female version of him. If not, he would continue killing his beloved ones. Victor started to curse at him. He wouldn't create something else for no reason. What if that creature started to do the same things as the monster was doing? So Victor told the monster that he wasn't gonna do any female version of him. The monster told Victor that he would kill Elizabeth. In spite of what the monster told him, he married Elizabeth, and that same night went looking for him. To be careful, he asked Elizabeth to wait for him, but a moment after, he heard Elizabeth screaming. The monster accomplished what he said. He got into the room and killed Victor's wife. When Victor returned, he couldn't believe what his eyes were looking at. There she was, still delicate and beautiful, but now she was dead. The monster was gone. He left before Victor got there. One more death that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't because of him. The love of his life was gone. He was all alone now. He sobbed desperately and found out that he couldn't handle it anymore. He had to kill the creature. It was taking away everything he had in his life. Victor had been looking for the monster to kill him. After all the suffering he brought to his life, when he was about to catch him, the sea beneath started to swell, and the ice were breaking. So he was at a moment where he needed some help. And that's when Walton, the captain, appeared. He kept Victor in a room where he shared with him his sad story. Finally, a day that seemed one of the last ones of Victor, when the captain came back to the room, he found the monster, and he was beside his creator, his dead creator. The monster was sad. Surprisingly, he started to cry and to remember all of the suffering he suffered together with Victor. After saying those painful words, the monster walked away. He jumped out of the boat. The captain didn't know what was going on, but he saw that the monster was getting away of the boat every time. All of a sudden, the monster escaped through the window and disappeared into the frozen darkness.